じゃあとりあえず脱げよ。
Afterward, they went to the Adventurers Guild to take Ruka and her mother back to the village. Miss said that the Trison and the Adventurer Guild side of Torage would soon take care of the bandits and Kristoff. Mist also thanked Kelvin's party for resolving this matter so well. Then Kelvin and his party went to the A-rank dungeon to train the heroes, especially Tuya. This was an order from Kelvin because the heroes had lost against him before. Meanwhile, Sarah was learning how to fish, as Kelvin promised at that time. Ethel and Clotho were preparing a place for lunch later. Then Sarah started talking with Kelvin. She was confused about why Kelvin wanted to bother teaching the heroes. Kelvin replied that he only wanted to teach them, and there was no particular reason.
レベル上げて再戦するのかと思ってた。
お、いいねそれ。
わかりました。戦略。次は私も混ぜてよね。
In Kelvin's mind, he wanted to train heroes because they were from the same world as Kelvin. After the heroes defeated the monsters, they ate together. Kelvin ordered Sarah to teach Tuya and Setsuna to fight in the front position. But Sarah taught it like this, so Tuya and Setsuna didn't understand. Because of that, Kelvin told Sarah to go fishing again. Kelvin asked Tuya, if an S-rank boss appeared in front of you and your party, what would you do? Then Tuya replied that he would run away first to level up and become stronger. After becoming stronger, Tuya and his party would return to fight the S-rank boss. Kelvin is happy to hear Tuya's words because this is very important for attacker classes like Tuya and Setsuna. Mia and Nana just needed to see the situation and watch their movements from afar while providing support buffs. Then Tuya and Setsuna explained to Kelvin that the dungeon boss, getting stronger due to the Demon Lord's awakening, was imminent. Suddenly, Sarah crazily lured an S-rank dungeon dragon boss in front of them. So Kelvin and his party will fight this dungeon boss first. Kelvin also advised Tuya not to forget that thought so as not to die in vain during a big fight like this.
その心構え忘れるなよ。
ちゃんと行くわよ。
A few days later, the heroes said goodbye to Kelvin and his party to go on another adventure to kill the monsters in the west. Kelvin gave accessories to them as a farewell. The heroes accepted it and immediately set off for another place on the prepared ship. Tuya was impressed with Kelvin and his party for easily defeating an S-rank dungeon boss. One day Tuya and his friends must be as strong as Kelvin's party. On the other side, Kelvin told Garrett that their current level was enough to defeat Lysia's kingdom. Kelvin remembers Garrett's story at that time. He was very angry with the Lysia kingdom for destroying the Alkyl kingdom. Garrett was very grateful to Kelvin for remembering the story. Garrett still wants to avenge the kingdom of Lysia. It used to be an impossible wish for Garrett. However, as time passed, Garrett's level got high, and he was confident of defeating Lysia's kingdom together with Kelvin's party.
でもまずはこの大陸の強い奴らと戦ってからにしようぜ。
Then Ethel said that Kelvin was very kind to the heroes for giving them the accessories he made himself. The accessories also have secret effects and increase some of the heroes' stats. Then Sarah told that Kelvin was waiting for the king of Torage. Sarah knows this because she was given the news from Mist's servant. Kelvin was very excited because he could finally get a gift from the king. The gift that Kelvin meant was rice.
米だ！米！おー、米！
After arriving at the residence of King Torage, the building is very similar to a castle in Japan. Then Garrett said that the first king of Torage and the hero of the city of Torage came from another world. So this castle must be a relic from the first king of Torage. Then they met the king of Torage named Tsubaki Fujiwara. The king of Torage thanked Kelvin and his friends for the hard work of solving Kristoff's case and also slaying an S-rank dungeon boss dragon. At first, Tsubaki wanted to celebrate publicly. But she couldn't do it because Kristoff was from Trison. For countries must maintain peace with each other. Doremus, Gon, Torage, and Trison. So, Tsubaki will give Kelvin whatever he wants in exchange. She can give territory, position, wealth, and even popularity. Then all the servants were fascinated by Sarah's elegant figure, like a noble. But to Kelvin, Sarah is just a cute girl and spoiled daughter of a demon lord who has a hobby of fighting stronger opponents.
普段からそうしてれば姫っぽいのに。
何よ、これでも元デーモンの姫よ。 これくらいできるっての。
Then Kelvin just wanted to buy rice. His purpose in coming to Torage was also because of eating rice. Tsubaki laughed after hearing Kelvin's request for being too simple. So, Tsubaki allowed it. She could even give Kelvin as much rice as he wanted for free. Because of that, Tsubaki became very interested in Kelvin. Then she immediately prepared various kinds of food, including rice for Kelvin. Tsubaki told them to enjoy all of these dishes.
遠慮はいらぬぞ。さあ、食べるがよい。
Kelvin can already order rice to Tsubaki anytime and anywhere. Ethel and Sarah also enjoy Japanese specialties, which is new for them. Ethel will also learn how to process this Japanese food so that she can cook it for Kelvin daily. As for Garrett, he really enjoyed drinking the sake. Well, although I don't know how he drinks it. A few days later, Kelvin was still at Tsubaki's place, and Ethel was able to cook Japanese food from the recipes told by the chef here. Ethel had S-rank cooking skills, so she could quickly learn things like this. When Kelvin was having breakfast, Tsubaki suddenly had breakfast in Kelvin's room. She said that these few days, the food at her house was cooked by Ethel. Tsubaki is very interested in Ethel because the chefs also learn much about cooking from her. Then Tsubaki starts to seduce Kelvin because she wants Ethel to stay here. Kelvin can also get a lot of advantages if he stays here. He can do anything for Tsubaki, from bathing to sleeping together, even if Kelvin wants to change clothes and take care of Tsubaki every day too. Kelvin was very weak with women's actions like this, but when he saw Ethel, Kelvin immediately rejected Tsubaki's offer. Ethel also said that in the past, she had seduced Kelvin like that. According to Ethel, Tsubaki still lacked experience in this matter. After that, Kelvin wanted to return to the Potsy city. So Tsubaki advised them to use the teleportation portal to get there quickly. Tsubaki has also given much rice to Kelvin, who is being brought by Sarah. Tsubaki asks for the stamp of their Adventurers Guild card to connect to the Potsy city. Kelvin and his party said goodbye and thanked Tsubaki, then headed back to Potsy. After arriving in Potsy, Mrs. Clayad congratulated him because the king of Torage greatly admired Kelvin. Mrs. Clayad got this news from Angie, the receptionist of the Adventurers Guild. Then Kelvin told Ethel that today's party activities would be closed. Kelvin wanted to go out for a while because he had important business. Then Mrs. Clayad guessed that Kelvin wanted to buy another cute slave.
It
turned out that Kelvin bought a spacious house for his friends. Many rooms and one basement for Kelvin's party fighting practice. Ethel wanted to occupy the room next door to Kelvin, and Kelvin allowed it.
私、キッチンを見てきます。
Clotho wants to live in nature, and Kelvin hands over the whole yard this house to Clotho. Then came the servants who would help Ethel at Kelvin's house. They are Ruka and her mother, whose name is Ellie. When Kelvin wanted to rest at night, he felt that Melfina had returned to telepathic communication. So, Kelvin immediately summoned Melfina because he was curious about what Melfina would look like.
まず好みではある。